Okay, I'd like to call the April 17th Study Commission meeting to order. Roll call. All elected officials are here with our ex-officiary. Let's please stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I had to see the flag. They should put it in a better spot.
They should.
Yeah.
We can see it.
All right. Any public comment?
I have one public comment as to Montana Code Annotated 731B. The local government shall provide office and meeting space for clerical assistance to the study commission. The cost of a clerical assistance and other in-kind services provided by the local government may be used to partially fulfill the appropriation provision of subsection 2A, which was for the support of the study commission for each fiscal year that the study commission is in existence. Each local government under study shall appropriate the amount necessary to fund the study, and the local government may levy mills in excess of all other mills authorized by law to fund the appropriation of the support the study commission. I am considering asking the commission to consider someone to do the minutes and releasing me of the secretarial duties.
Of all secretarial duties or just the minutes?
Possibly just the minutes.
So, and we do have that down below on the
Yes.
on new business. So, but so noted.
Thank you.
Minutes. I need a motion to approve the March 20th minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes with the correction of the spelling of Miranda's name.
Okay. And I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
And one withheld vote.
Withheld, yeah. All right. Agenda items. All right. So after the training that we had today, and hopefully you've looked over those survey questions that they did provide, and we need to come up obviously with our own, and then so to take that into consideration, did everybody look at those questions? There were 10, and I think I starred 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and then I think the citizens input form, I think it's a great idea from training today to go to the different clubs and have it compiled, and again, put it in locations here in the courthouse, at various businesses, but we have to keep it fairly contained. So I would ask for input from you guys too.
Well, I come up with a little acronym that may or may not help. It's one I'm going to use on the website, and that is PIE rather than boobs.
PIE rather than what?
PIE.
Okay, and what is your?
Perception, investigation, and education. And I think the whatever questions we come up with, or survey items, should be directed in that kind of a framework. At this point, I'm pretty sure we're mainly into trying to find out what people think
Sure.
what they perceive.
Yeah.
Agree.
So going to these different organizations, it might, I mean, I think we'll probably have to go more than once,
Oh, I'm sure we would.
you know.
And I guess my question would be, does that mean everybody goes together?
Oh, I don't think so. I
don't
think
think
we
you have to.
separate and
Yeah.
conquer, you know, do it because
Sure.
you guys, you know what organizations are up here. And then I know, you know, the ones in Hall somewhat, and then the ones in Drummond. And it doesn't mean that we have to. Maybe we switch it up and
Sure.
we come up here and you go down there. I mean,
Well, what we might do is come up with a list.
yeah, I
Do
started
that
one.
tonight, maybe.
Yeah, I started one for down there that I knew of.
Now, I don't know, I know from being in Kiwanis and several other things, a lot of times they won't let you come in and really give a talk,
Oh, the Drummond Kiwanis does.
but the Drummond would. Okay.
Drummond does, yeah, absolutely. And I believe the Rotary up here is pretty open to
Okay.
that
Well,
stuff.
I would certainly, write them a little note, ask them when their meeting is and if that would be allowed,
Yeah.
just to explain what this group is doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
So I have in Drummond Kiwanis, the Chamber, Senior Citizens, American Legion.
Okay, now, let me write those down.
Kiwanis,
Drummond,
yeah,
Kiwanis,
yep.
okay.
And the Chamber of Commerce, yeah,
So, and then the Rotary here, right? In the chamber here.
yeah.
Okay,
Seniors,
still Drummond?
yes, these are all in Drummond.
Okay,
Seniors, and then the American Legion.
okay.
And then I'm trying to think, like in Hall, let's see. I think there's like, they have the, what is it?
They have an organization that does the beautification.
Oh, they
What is
do,
that?
yeah. Well, we'll just put the beautification. And that would be Janet Kuhn.
Okay.
Now, what was that, beautification?
I just
Beauty.
called it beautification. I don't know their technical word, but they're the ones that put the lights and the displays up in the hall
yeah,
area.
I've seen the gals doing that.
And
Okay.
what about the Conservation District? They meet up here though, don't they?
Okay.
And there's I'll have to do a little bit more research, because I want to say the cattlewomen and all of that, but I don't know if they,
Okay.
but do we go to the school boards
What about the library?
and the library, yeah?
Would the school boards allow that?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty laid back, Gary, if the requirement for everybody is to get put on the agenda.
Okay.
And because it would, ultimately it affects everybody.
Well, of course it does.
So
So does Hall?
they have a
school board?
school board, yeah.
Okay.
Maxfield does not have. Maxfield has the.
No, but they have the
VFW.
VFW, they have American Legion.
Okay.
And they have regular meetings.
Okay.
Um,
Alrighty.
What about Phillipsburg? So they have the Rotary, right?
Chamber,
Rotary.
school library there. They have a
Chamber.
seniors. Is seniors and the Rotary the same thing?
No,
Senior Citizen Center.
seniors, yeah. We probably could go to, it's county, but we could go to the medical,
Granite County Medical.
Granite County Medical Board's
Yeah, be fine.
meeting. Ooh, LEPC,
I'll be in Granite County, LEPC.
yeah, that's Granite County, LEPC. Because there's anywhere that I can think of, anywhere from 5 to 10 people at each one of these. So I think, that's,
Does any of these communities have the Headwaters watershed, or is there?
yeah, it is a watershed. That's
So
the one
which
I
one
was
is that
trying,
one?
I think it would be Hall.
Hall, okay.
Yeah.
So it's called watershed, was that right?
Yeah, there's probably something else it's called, but
Watershed.
we'll have to,
And that was like, actually,
Now, I would make a suggestion that maybe we can come up with a very small one-page handout.
oh yeah, it's gotta
We're trying
be.
to accomplish.
Absolutely, it's got, and even, yeah, I don't know that like 3 questions is enough. I don't feel like, but maybe it is.
Okay.
But at probably at least 5. And what are you talking about for handout?
Well, what I'm talking about is just a very, very brief synopsis of the various forms of government.
Oh, sure,
and that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just so that they know what we're looking at,
Sure,
and
yeah.
then we could ask whatever questions.
sure. And there, I think we have one that,
would this be what you're
It's-
thinking? Can you hand that to Gary, please?
but it's more than, it's several pages.
It's just 2 pages.
Oh, just 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that would be,
I think I'd condense it down more than that. That's a lot of reading. It's got to be something they can just look at and grasp what's going on.
but if we could have bullet points with this, from this,
Yeah.
And I mean, we need to put on there what we are now, so that,
Yep.
I mean, and two, I don't know, I mean, getting this stuff maybe to them in advance, so
That
they
might be
have,
helpful.
so they would have time
It could be a little
to.
bit longer if you did that, but I'm thinking if you just went in to give a talk and this was all you had, you'd want something very brief.
Yeah, you would,
Go back to my days as an educator.
well, and I think too, I don't know, Luke, I'm assuming you'll do an article on the training we had today. Will you put some of this stuff in there?
You mean just the explanation that you have on that?
This was
Yeah.
provided by MSU.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll definitely include lots of explanation.
okay.
Thank you.
So at least, and obviously putting this on our website.
And another thing that we can do, we can kind of go back to the old educational things where you put an objective, what you're trying to accomplish, and mechanisms by which can be accomplished. Can stimulate thought.
Yeah, I mean, having that handout that Dan had, the green light, red light stuff, that's gonna give a good synopsis of what we're trying to do with what you said, the perception, investigation, and education. So this isn't, I mean, so they know what it isn't.
Sure.
I think it is a good idea to do it like you said, but I also think it would be really beneficial to leave them with enough information with this and the red light, green light to
That
leave
would be
behind
fine.
for them
Sure.
to be able to review it more at their own
Yeah.
leisure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So with additional handouts.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think a little explanation even on that red light, green light, because there's still some things in there that are iffy.
all right, so with that, when would it be that we want to try to target these?
Well, probably the sooner the better.
Mhm.
So maybe this month and maybe take one a week, try one a week.
Well, like some places, I don't know about the chamber up
How
here,
often they meet.
but they only meet once a month.
Once a month. Well,
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to get the
then we're
calendar.
stuck because if they all meet on the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The school calendar puts out where the different meetings are
Yeah.
for East Rome. I don't know if Phillipsburg has a school calendar like
I'm
that.
sure
that
they probably do.
will tell us where
Are
everyone's-
they listed in any of the local phone books or online?
Oh,
They
yeah.
should, yeah.
Yeah, the local phone
Okay.
book, I'm pretty sure that, because the Rotary puts that
Right.
out, and I didn't,
Most of them have websites too.
yeah, almost all of them do.
Well, if you want to start down in your neck of the woods,
Okay.
I'll start up here, and then maybe we can switch at some point if we find a need for that.
Sure. So Robin, I would take, do you know what you want to take? What places you would want to go to?
I would take seniors,
Okay.
the library,
Okay.
chamber.
Okay. So I will do Kiwanis, American Legion, and the school board.
Okay.
And then at Hall, I'm going to have to, I don't know that the beautification meets, but I will take the school board, and then if we can find out about,
I can check with the beautification ladies.
okay, well, I work with one,
Okay, do you
or
do
two of
that?
them.
Yeah.
I'll
Who
do
would-
those ones, and then the watershed, I think,
Who would know what LAPC is?
oh, I do.
LE.
It's LEPC. It's Local Emergency,
Is that part of the medical?
no, it's with everything. I'll take that one, because I go to that meeting
All right,
it's every other month,
okay.
or quarterly maybe
All
it
right,
is, so I'll take
we'll
that.
concentrate on Rotary Chamber and medical.
Okay,
So you would take something like this as for information and then the red-green thing?
And then Gary was mentioning making another one with bullet points and how mechanisms and consolidate, which is a very small presentation document. Is that what you're thinking?
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
so when are we gonna, because we better do that before we go to these places.
Correct.
Well, that's true.
Have you already started anything like that since you got the acronyms?
Not really, but I'm just about to do that on the website. I'm getting there, almost ready.
Okay.
But what
Would
I
you want to share that?
envision, yeah, I sure would. Pretty much the same as what he drew out on his.
Which we have that,
Right, and we do have that.
we did from
Yeah.
from the
And
class
just
that
a
we
very
took.
brief explanation of what each one does and interactions and how people, might want to go for one thing or another, depending on what they want to accomplish.
Ooh, I might,
Yeah, that's within our handouts.
yeah, it is within our handouts, so. But a visual is always better.
Yes.
Much better.
Oh, so see, oh, there, in some of that stuff, even if we had these on one,
You could just put it on a
Yeah,
poster
I
board.
have all those in my packet.
right,
I can
yeah,
go through and let you know. I'll just email you. what I
Okay.
think is a
all right,
framework.
all righty. So then when we have that, then now we need to chat about what questions.
So after our presentation today with Dan, I think we need to make it more in line with what our goal
Well,
of asking
why
them
don't
are.
you go ahead and start on the questions you had flagged, and let's see what.
I had, and this was the county one, this
Okay.
was not the city one. So I had the one, in general, how responsive is your county government to your needs? Very responsive, not very, very unresponsive, no opinion. And I don't know if we want to get real in depth with that. The other one was in providing essential services. Does your local government make reasonably good use of the taxes and fees it collects? And then it has, for example. So they have to take some, is a local government representative of the whole community. Would a change in the number of commissioners, commissioner members, or a change in their term of office improve effective representation of community, neighborhoods and
That
community?
one I'd question, because that's really nailing it down to something that, I may want to change the whole government,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Why do it just with commissioners?
Well, that's what we're
Could
looking
we
at.
come up with something more general? What things would you like your government to do that they're not doing?
Which is, yeah. Maybe just keeping it that, what would you like to see your government do? Keeping it at that and not putting that they're not doing, because we don't know if they're doing it or not.
Sure.
So,
Well, and it's their perception of what's
Right.
being done and what isn't.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3. This one's pretty wide. I believe that the maintenance of the roads in our county, and then they have choices on it. More than adequate, adequate, less than adequate. That might be,
Too in depth.
yeah, and it's like, because we don't know
How
every.
about, instead of saying roads, how about saying what services is the government providing? Anything other, any other service? Or you could say, do you feel that the funds being expended on?
Yeah, that was
government
one.
adequate, not adequate, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. That was in providing essential services.
Because in my opinion, my mind, I think whatever you ask someone, you really don't want them to give you a book. You
Right,
want them to
yeah.
give you a gut reaction of whatever it is that they're feeling or thinking or whatever.
For calculating the data, would it be easier to have yes, no, and multiple choice?
Well, you certainly could, that would help. But I think at some point, you really want to ask them
Some
specifically
input.
what is it that you would like to see in your government that you're not.
So this one I think is applicable. If I had a vote tomorrow, I would vote to keep the government the same, make a few changes in the government.
Okay,
That one's fairly general.
Right.
It's not saying,
right,
I think we need to go to this form.
right.
It's just,
But,
do you think
you know,
there's changes?
whoever it was down there at the other end of the table from the city, the bottom line on all of this is education.
It is.
You cannot expect anyone to be able to formulate an opinion if they truly don't understand what's going on. And I will say, out of every 10 people I talk to, maybe 2
Maybe,
truly understand,
maybe.
maybe. And the others look at you like, well, what do you mean?
So, Gary or Gil, on the questionnaire, how many questions were you thinking of having?
Like maybe 5 or,
Yeah, I would think 3 to 5, but
So if you
keep it
did
simple.
3 with yes, no, or multiple choice, and 2 with their responses to get
You
verbiage?
could do that. You probably should have at least one that gives them an opportunity to make a comment.
well, I think that last one, do you have any other comments you want your local government review study commission to consider?
Sure.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I
one.
mean, I think we need to put that one
Okay.
on there for sure.
So those 2 right there, 10, And then the one that you had said, what would you like your government to do?
Okay, there's one.
Do you
and
have any other
two.
comments or recommendations you want your local government review study commission to consider? Those could be the two verbiage ones, and
Yeah.
then pick
Right.
some for multiple
And,
choice.
and, you know, one other that could really kind of cement it all together would be, what would you like to see from your government that you're not seeing now? And they can come up with any number of
So that's
issues, reasons.
basically the question that you presented,
Well,
and
okay.
termed differently, but
Yeah.
that's still asking them,
Right.
what would you like us to do
Well,
that they're not doing?
yeah,
That's
maybe
basically
that's
the same
true.
question,
That's
so.
So if we had, what would you like to see your government do? That's one. And then two, do you have any comments or recommendations for that's two. And then, in providing essential services, does your government, yes, make reasonably good use of the taxes and fees it collects, and then it says, for example. So that would be three.
So you're gonna have a yes or no, and then, for example,
Yeah, yes or no, and then, yeah,
please make.
and then, for example. And then, let's see. That's three, and then
You had number 1 and number 9 that you had said you started.
I did. I don't know that we want to, how responsive is your county
No.
to your needs? I don't think that
It's
is.
getting a little too sensitive. Because
It is,
Then you're
yeah.
inviting people to start complaining about.
Yeah.
personality.
So that right there is three.
Yeah.
So
And,
maybe
you know,
that's,
The less the better to try and accomplish this idea of how do people perceive their government.
won't if we put too much in front
And I
of it,
wouldn't
we're not
ask
gonna
that
get
question.
anything.
But the questions that we have all relate to their perception.
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next time we take a question out, you know, we go to investigation.
Sure.
This is what
Well, give
services
them,
they offer. blah, blah, blah.
given them, and that is on there. They had that. But also, then if they have time to look at this,
Sure.
we come
Sure.
and talk with them and whatnot. Then we could ask, if you had to vote tomorrow, what would,
Right.
how would you do
Well,
that?
you know, one question when you get to that point is, what is the most, I don't want to say disturbing, but the most irritating thing you find in your government today? In other words, what are they dissatisfied with? Or
That, I would
to say,
think,
what
I
are
would
you
think that
dissatisfied?
using the word dissatisfied, because I can be irritated at stuff, but that
Sure.
doesn't mean I'm,
Sure.
you
And
know.
dissatisfied, same thing. Being
It is, but it sounds
It's a different
more
word.
professional
Right.
as far as,
But then you actually start to get into their head a little bit about, well, what really sets you off about what your government's doing.
well, and then we can also maybe look at, so that'd be for, maybe asking about the partisan, nonpartisan, or districts at large.
Sure.
And then that covers pretty much everything.
Well, I think at some point, though, we've got to come up with another approach of education. I don't care what anybody says. If you do not understand what your government's doing, what you're voting for, what you're paying taxes for, you're bound to be irritated,
So-
dissatisfied.
Possibly, we have the questionnaires that they would put into the box, and maybe we could leave some educational
You can
materials
put
with
a
them.
list of things and have them check off,
Well,
because a lot of people don't think.
yeah, and I mean, people intertwine
Right.
what is a municipality and what is a county. They don't even know
Well,
what it is.
They don't, and they sure don't understand what local government is, because when you look in the case law and the statutes, it's municipalities, counties, and local government. You say, okay, what's the difference? I mean, we know the difference between a city and a county. But what's that local government thing? They don't understand that it's a collection of ideas and thoughts and laws that go into making up statutes.
So with our questionnaires, if we have, there's 6 right now,
Yep.
and then do you want to put something like a, on
Well-
the back that they could
Well,
just check?
Yeah,
I think-
something to check off.
I think the easier we
But
make it, the better.
What I kind of would envision and recommend is that the very first time, 'cause I think we're going to be going back to these organizations.
I'm thinking more on the lines of, we're going to have these collection boxes
Yeah,
for the
well,
general public, so,
Well, I
but
hope you're correct.
also those, but I would hope that people would fill them out.
Well, what I'm thinking of, though, is what we're going to do with these organizations.
Correct.
And if we start with them and we keep it very simple, then they may be encouraged to tell other people, yeah, if you see this stuff in a collection box, fill it out. Because most people, I would think, are not going to
Response.
be looking and be willing to pick it up, fill it out, and throw it back in the box. Most
Yeah.
people.
That's why I think getting the first 3 out there, going to the people, and then, having the last 3 or 4, however many, again. But I think it's good that we have collection boxes, but I think if we do this with these organizations, we're going to get much more
Much
input
more information.
with those organizations than we are
Yeah,
with just putting some boxes out there.
sure.
I thought that was a great idea that Dan shared with us today. So what did you have for the 6th one?
I had number 10, and then we had the one, what would you like your government to do? And we scratched off that they are not doing. We
Yeah.
could leave that on.
Yeah.
Number 3 was in providing essential services, does
Right.
your local government make reasonably good use of the taxes and fees it collects, for example, yes or no,
Right.
for example. And then, what is your government doing that you are dissatisfied with? And then you'd mentioned the nonpartisan
gotcha.
or the voting at large or districts.
Okay, and then I also had the one, if we had to vote, this is later. If I had to
Right.
vote tomorrow, would I vote for keep the
Number
government
9.
the same? Number 9. Okay. All right, just so we're all on the same page.
3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7.
Yeah. So the first 3, let's tackle that and go to these places,
Okay.
and we can just have them on a piece of paper, right? And the language, we are good. What would you like to see your government do is number 1. 2, do you have any comments or recommendations you want local government to consider? And 3, in providing essential services, does your local government make reasonably good use of taxes and fees it collects, yes or no, and then for example. So those 3 are good
Yeah, I think so.
to start out
So
with?
you've got the first one, what he had said, what would you like them to do?
Yeah.
And number 2 is their number 10.
Yeah.
And then number 3.
And then number 3, yeah. And I think honestly, you guys I hate to say it, we are thinking about putting them on little cards and having a box. I think we keep it fairly simple and keep it on half a piece of paper, or, cut them in half and
Sure.
and do it that way, because I think it's too overwhelming
Right.
for people, and I think you'll get a better response.
So do we want to just disregard the boxes
And
for
I'm
now
still-
and go with the meeting?
Maybe later we could put those boxes out, but going,
out.
yeah, but going to these people, all of these different things and trying to get a feel for it to see where we're at. Because up here, it's not going to be just us, it's going to be Peaburg.
Well, I'm still thinking we need to get something in the paper. And I was thinking, remember, well, when I was a kid anyway, you would see the signs as you went through rural areas, Burma shave and wall drug and those kinds of things. Even if you put a little one-liner in the newspaper, small box, it may stimulate thought into, oh, there's this group out there. Maybe if we see something, we should
Well, and I think,
participate.
I think you're right in the respect that if we keep doing it once a month,
Right.
then at least they're going to know.
Right.
The challenge with it is going to be probably not for us, but the money that it costs. I don't know what's a box. Do you know what a box is? Dang it! We gotta get something
We gotta
from
get
you.
a cheat sheet here from the paper.
But do you know what I mean? How they have the business
Right, a little.
Business cards and the
business card
back.
section or whatever.
So we need to check with Julie List and find out what the difference is for a legal notice versus
what
an advertisement
what I'm thinking
or.
is something maybe about like just bold letters, thing around the box, and whatever word or no more than 2 words
Well,
that we're going
we
to
already
put in
got.
there to stimulate.
But we
thought.
already got the word. You put pie on there.
Well, yeah,
It-
but that's for us. That's not for them.
But
It's
that-
for
that-
them. It's for them.
Could be.
It's yeah. I mean, if you think about it,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was thinking more for us.
well, it is for us.
It
but-
could be, what is the goal of the study commissioners?
Well,
Have some pie. We need to blah, blah, blah.
right.
Well,
You could
I
do
mean,
that.
if
Sure.
you put pie and put what was it? Perception.
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 Investigate.
Investigate.
Well, you
And
could
educate.
stagger, with the
Yeah.
big P.
Yeah.
I-E.
But I mean, just having that, and I mean, because people are like, "What in the hell is
yeah.
that?"
Yeah, you have
And
to tell
that's
them what-
when
Yeah.
they look at it.
And then you can put at the very bottom in
Yeah.
smaller letters, local government study.
Yeah.
And then next time they see something about local government study, they're,
So I think you
about
could.
pie.
I think you could do that in a business card.
I think so, that section of the
Yeah.
paper.
That part of it. Yeah.
that you could do, but keep it very simple.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be.
Less words.
Well, because I know. I mean, when I, that's how we all do it too.
Well, we do, yeah.
I mean, yes, we have to thoroughly read stuff, but boy, if we can get something quick.
Yeah.
So, okay. Will you ask
I'll call Julie
Julie about that?
or email her.
Okay. And then those 3 questions, we'll just do it on a piece of paper and I'll put some manpower into it, cutting them in half and
Well, I
getting
don't
them.
have a cutter right now.
Yeah.
I'd do that too.
Yeah, so that'd be easy enough to do.
Our stuff's still in the box.
Well, the county even has a cutter, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they
They do. Okay, so we got those. Okay, new business, discussion of potential help outside to do the minutes. Robin, how much time did you spend on these minutes?
You really don't want to know. It took me 7 hours at least on Saturday, and I finished on Sunday with about 3 more hours. And it
So-
could have been longer than that.
So,
Now, let me just ask a question.
sure.
We were going through people last time of how we're going to contact and so forth. Who would be doing this if you're not doing it?
That's what we're asking.
That's what we're
I'm
asking.
asking. That's what this
Okay.
question, I guess, is pertaining to.
Yeah, that's why I put it on there, was because we can't pay her.
No.
But yet we have a budget, but there's not, with everything else that we all have to do, and they have to be good, thorough minutes. So, you know, and I don't even know if anybody would want to do that. That would mean they would have to come to the meeting, take the minutes, and then,
Well, one thing you could do, if you could find somebody that's kind of a stenographer, there's got to be court reporters and things like that around. You could just give them a tape. And a good stenographer could go through a tape, a couple hours at the most.
Do we know a stenographer? Do we have one for the court system?
Oh,
or-
they've got to have one because they're keeping records.
yeah. I don't know if it's,
Just ask the clerks.
yeah, it's got to be district
Clerk
clerk
of the
would
court.
have to know that. But also, I don't feel like we want to be thorough with these, but we also need to get to the point, get it, I mean, we only have a couple of agenda items. So that's what, we need to be cognizant of that.
Right.
I will ask, what's her name? Oh, Carol
Bornson?
Warrenson, about that, and, or, yeah, about.
And then we
a
would have to find out
stenographer.
what the charge they would do and if it would be within the budget.
Yeah.
Are we finished with that? I have another thing I want to bring up under new business.
Sure.
Okay. I would like to get some information from the county, and I think I have another one if you want one of these too. And then the other thing is I want to talk a little bit about our bylaws. I'm going to send those two over for you. And I'm asking some really specific questions
You're asking questions to,
from the county on primarily financial aspects of its operation. Let me get you on here too.
oh, well, yeah, that's public information.
Well,
so-
it is public information, but I don't have it.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to ask for it,
I'd
yeah.
like to have it.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that has to go through us.
Well, now, I was told last time I had to go through you. Now, I don't know that that's true, but I'm going through.
Depend, if it's pertained to the study commission,
It
just
does.
just the study commission, Gary, but all of this that I see right here,
You get it online.
you can get most of it online, and or that is public, that's public
I've been
records.
online, and I don't see a lot of that online.
Well, then I mean, I would
Yeah.
guess then that you
Yeah.
could give it
So,
to,
if we could give it to the treasurer's office, I'm sure they have people that could do this for
nope,
us.
some of this is not the treasurer, some of it is.
You're going to
the-
get this in the clerk and recorder's
In the
office.
clerk and
In the
recorders.
Okay,
Yeah.
clerk and recorder, fine.
So you can send this to Sarah and ask her
Well,
for this
all right.
information.
Then the next item that I have is, let's see, I gave you the two sheets, our bylaws. I'd really like to start going through, because we went through at the very beginning when we didn't know what we were doing. And all we did was fill blanks in from that standard template. After that little discussion last meeting with the attorney, and you all have my response to it, I'm sure by now. If you don't, you'll get it. I don't want to be blindsided again. First of all, we agreed that we would have a set routine. If people from the public were going to want to make comments, whatever, they would make comments. But when the county attorney comes in and starts on me about, well, I'm here to give you a legal opinion, I'm sorry. Your opinion means nothing to me. I know nothing about you, and you don't identify a problem.
I think that's a personal thing
Well,
with
it's
you
more
and
than
him.
personal, because it was in the newspaper, it was in the minutes, And now,
Because it happened.
well, and now I would like it to be in the minutes this time for my response. It did happen. And I'm not going to let it go. I am committed to being on this committee, doing what I think that I'm empowered to do. And when somebody tells me, oh, you don't need to pay attention to the statutes or the Constitution, I'm sorry, that is absolutely wrong.
You know, and I'm not going to speak.
So-
I'm not going to speak for the county attorney. But Gary, some of the stuff you were talking about, it's right on this sheet
Not very much of it.
of the do's
Yeah.
and don'ts, and those are recorded.
And you'll notice right on there in red, you're not going to be removing anybody from this study group. If you want to do that, you take it to the district court. And
I
I
didn't
will.
even
didn't
see
read
that.
that. I
I
thought it
didn't
was the
read anything on that.
commissioners.
Yeah.
Well, we are commissioners.
Of the government we're studying, not us.
That's
yeah.
not what it says.
Yeah, well, that's
Not what it says.
that's your
Anyway,
interpretation.
that's my interpretation, but I did my response for a reason.
So what is it that you want
Well,
with
what
the
is it that I want
bylaws?
from now on in the bylaws? I would like to see an agenda at least 2 weeks before our meeting, a written agenda. I
2
would like
weeks
to see-
before? Why does it have to be 2 weeks
Because
before?
we need time to look at it and evaluate it. And
There
if you-
are 3 things on here. If you can't read this
No,
agenda
no,
in
no.
3 minutes,
Then why did you bring, not you personally, but why did the county attorney come in here and act like he was part of this group?
he is part of the group.
He
We
is
can,
not part of the group. He is a voter.
well,
I didn't
so do you
ask for
want to
his
put on the
opinion.
agenda for next month the bylaws? And we
Yes,
will
yes, and we will
then
go
we'll do
through
it that
those.
way. Re-review
Yes.
the bylaws
May meeting.
in the May meeting.
But it's my interpretation from what we had agreed that if somebody from the public wants to come in and speak, we would allow them to speak. But we were not going to allow them to attack each other. And that's what happened, whether you
Well,
agree or not.
I mean, we have, the tape is there, the recorded
tape is there.
and whatnot,
And-
but I'm not going to argue with you, Gary, about who started what, whatever. There was a conversation there.
Well,
Just like you and I are having a
We-
conversation
we
right
need
now.
rules if people are going to come in as the public, and I would invite them to come in, to make their statement, 3 to 5 minutes, whatever we agreed to, but to keep the personalities out of it.
Well, then that means we have to keep the personalities
Well,
out
we
of
do.
it. Oh, I
We do.
don't. I
And if you don't
disagree.
agree with that, then we're going to have problems all the way through.
And we may.
That's-
Yeah, we may, so we
Might
will.
I just add one comment? I didn't join the study commission to be in the environment of conflict and contention at every meeting.
Okay.
I put myself in this study commission to do research on behalf of the citizens of Granite County. I want to do my best in that position. But personally, I am not willing to sit every meeting and be in a confrontational situation that gets elevated at every single meeting. If we cannot move forward and do the tasks that we've been giving, then the commissioners need to look at this committee and see if it needs to be.
I got news for you.
Arranged
Commissioners
differently.
are not going to be able
Okay.
to do anything about it.
I hear
Okay?
you, but
We are a group.
Stop
All right.
talking over
I
her.
was talking. I do not want conflict at every single meeting.
Neither do I.
Okay, if we can move past the conflict, then we can actually get down to business and help the citizens of Granite County and decide if there's things in the government, laws that allow us to better their environment, their way of life, and we can help Granite County and the citizens therein. If we cannot do that, then this board is not being successful.
Well, that's your personal opinion.
Yes, it is my
I'm
personal
sorry
opinion.
if you've been offended but I'm offended also.
All
I'm
right.
offended when somebody tells me, oh, the Constitution isn't important. Oh, it all goes by state law. Oh, we can't do this, we can't. That is not true.
But
But
that
can
is,
we move
No, if
forward?
you're going to do that,
We're back to conflict.
No, we're not.
exactly.
Yes, we
Yeah, we
are.
are.
have you read?
But you're mansplaining to us what it is.
Oh, come on.
You don't need to mansplain to me about the Constitution. That's not what we're here for.
Oh, we are.
Well, I'm not. I am here
I'm not
for
either.
pie.
All right, if you're not, then I will go on, do my thing the way I want to do it. And I don't want to hear any comments about having preconceived ideas or doing something that I shouldn't be doing. I am doing what I should be doing.
So we will stick to the agenda
Right.
and not a whole lot of
Then
talk
the
out.
attorney will not come in again.
You don't get to
Take
tell
the
him
meeting.
that. You don't get to tell him that.
Oh, but I do when he attacks me personally.
I didn't
And
see
he
it that
tells
way.
me, oh,
All
yeah,
right, so
you do it
stop
this way.
right here. We're
right.
going to go over the bylaws next month.
We are.
And
Thank you.
we'll discuss it then.
Thank you.
Unfinished business is with our meetings at 7 p.m. What time is the end date of or end time of a meeting? We set it.
Well, you said it at 8 o'clock.
Well, we set it with 8 o'clock from when it was 5 p.m. when we were meeting at 5. But personally, you know, our meeting should be able to be over no later than, I mean, if it's a public hearing, it's going to be
8:39
different,
at the most.
okay? I just want to be able to put it on
Okay.
here. 9 p.m. Are you good with that?
Yep.
Okay.
And I will try and be less irritating to you.
Okay, with that, our next meeting, any other unfinished business?
I don't have any.
No.
With that, our next meeting is May 15th, 2025 at 7 here.
Right. Then
So on this, all you have to do is go in the clerk and recorder's office.
I need a
and
motion,
ask
please.
For
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
past 4 years.
Hey, Blanche, can you
Yes.
just wait just a minute?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's
I
a
just
motion.
Made a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Meeting
They
adjourned.
do the budget every year. So there's the budget report,
Okay.
and it's actually, it's been online, I think you can get it on the website, but I called.
So I will take,
And it's got all this.
so I'll have Sarah put
It's
these.
all on that budget.
Oh, I need to sign it, yeah.
Yeah, everything that you need is in that budget, on your expenditures and
Yeah,
revenue.
so I'll have her, I gotta write myself.
And then my task force is called Julie.
Right, okay. Send,
Hey Gary,
Hi.
Calvin White, I'm Robin's wife, husband, I mean.
send to